You are experiencing the Kathryn Dunn Show. Welcome, everybody. Yes, hello. We've got Matt. We've got Elaine. We've got Don. We've got, I don't know if we've got Tanya. We've got Elise. And we've got Cece. All right, everybody. Welcome. The thoughts and opinions expressed on TKDS may not be those of the people expressing them. We just say things. And if you'd like to say things, get out here. Reach out, find a way. You'll figure it out. I don't even know if you're hearing us today. You might just be seeing us. So this should be even more interesting.
Hello,
Whine
hello,
and
hello.
whisper,
You two,
light
you two,
ASMR.
Ken, you. It was funny.
Where you guys get to decide what you think I'm drinking based on how it sounds. All right. What is it you think I'm drinking?
I couldn't hear anything.
Can't hear anything. That sounds like a clue.
Maybe she's sipping like really tea, like high tea. Like
she's drinking Jello.
Is it boba tea again?
It is not.
No, you guys. She's having coffee.
Shh.
Water.
You're yelling.
It's water.
Elaine.
Could anybody else hear it? Because I couldn't hear it drinking at all.
No, it was just like water. So not only can Elaine not talk, she's shouting on mute. So I want everybody to know that Elaine cannot talk. Like in the movie Speed, where the bus can't go below a certain speed or everyone dies. Elaine can't talk or everyone dies. So what's it gonna be today?
We're all gonna die. Were you drinking silence?
Oh, okay. She's icing her neck, guys. That was Whine and a Whisper. And if you didn't hear what I was saying, yes, it's true. Elaine cannot talk today. We'll see how that goes. She's already laughing. You're not even allowed to laugh, Elaine. Not good for you. All right, you are on mute. So anything you're saying, it just hurts you.
I know. And I appreciate you guys being patient and working through this. You know, I'm glad that you guys are improvisers, and I think that we'll figure this out. We'll get to the other side. For sure. No doubt. We're good.
Absolute perfection. I buy it. That is Elaine. Everybody.
That was pretty good. That was amazing.
Yes. All right. So normally now we talk about something that happened currently. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about that's going on in the news or the world right now, this week, today?
Oh,
nothing's going on.
What a terrible week to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising that Roe v. Wade got reversed.
Was it surprising? I'm not surprised. I told everybody that this was going to happen, and it happened.
Wow.
I was called stupid. I was told, oh, that'll never happen. You're being crazy.
So I'm guessing that wasn't on one of these episodes, right?
Especially after they lied. Right.
But yeah, no, it was definitely happening. And I don't know. I think it was decided way before Trump, but people are like, oh, it was decided during Trump or whatever.
I think
see, so Elaine is saying Obama. Like it was decided during Obama. I was saying that earlier also, but I think it was even before that. We won't even be able to know what Elaine's saying because she won't show us. Sorry. Go on. What were you saying, Matt?
Randomly, Dick's Sporting Goods is providing, is making it possible for their employees to still get abortions. They're giving them financial support or whatever's needed for their employees to get that kind of care.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies doing that.
Yeah. Didn't they also take guns off the shelf? The Dick's Sporting Goods, they were one of the first ones to do that.
Yeah.
Voluntarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also the entire state of California has declared that they're not going to cooperate. They're going to be a safe haven, and then Washington and Oregon combined with California to form like a whole West Coast alliance.
Yep.
Wow.
So I mean, like Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. Like there are people out there doing the right thing. It just really, really, really fucking sucks, and we need to expand the court, and we need to recall these lying liars.
There is so much happiness. I feel you. But I mean, it really does show there are some folks stepping up, like you said, Matt, like all over. There's a ton of companies that have basically said they'll relocate employees, they will cover the cost. And then there's just a bunch of people who are like, hey, I have extra homes I live in one of these states. Come, like, I will house you, we will support you. So it is good to see. It is good for us to sometimes focus on the positive that comes out of it, because there's a lot of other stuff we can focus on, and we should, and we have to like experience it and be aware of it and just feel it. But at the same time, like there is like love being shared. And so that is also something we can feel too. We can feel both, right? So
Yeah.
Totally.
we can feel both.
And when it comes up again, they'll just make it law.
Oh.
But there I have been seeing some things about not posting on social media that you're willing to house campers, so to speak. So there is a way to do it, but do it on the sly. And then there are numbers, and I don't have them now. I don't know if CC is able to pull them up, but a number to call to find a resource. The best thing to do is to find resources. And then I'm sure there will be people, who are able to, house people. But again, I don't know.
That's a really good point. That actually is a good thing to say, because I've just seen people saying it on social media. So it is an interesting call out to make in terms of, I guess, what you share.
I just started seeing that like yesterday or recently, whereas for months I was seeing, like when Texas started to do it, there was just those posts like, if you need to go camping, if you need to see a show, if you need this, if you need that, so that was happening. But more recently than that, I've been seeing you probably shouldn't say that because they're and another thing that they could be tracking is if you use a period tracker.
Wait,
like
what?
if they really are going handmaids on us, then if you have a period tracker, then you're already giving them the information they need to
You're
know.
pregnant.
Right?
Wow.
So if you are in one of those places, you might want to stock up on things that you could need, be it pregnancy tests or pills or anything that you might need in those areas, just so that nobody knows you need them when you need them.
Yeah.
So who gets arrested if someone goes to get an abortion in a state where it's illegal? Does the mother or does the doctor get arrested, or do both?
Oh. Plus the Uber driver.
I wasn't around in like the 50s and 60s, and I don't know what's going on now. I imagine back then it was the woman and the doctor, and the man was fine. And I'm sure that's the great again. The again is when, it's one of these in the Wild West. Wild West. I don't know. I think it would probably be the woman and the doctor, and then people who house the woman. I have no idea. It's going to be terrible, whatever it is.
Do you think vasectomies will be on the rise? I mean, I could see a lot of women being like, hey, you want to get with this? Then get your little snippy, little snipperoo, little snippity
Baby,
snip,
if you give it to me, I'll snip it to you. I think they should. I think it's the most ally. Like, if you want to be an ally, you should get it.
Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely. If people are swiping, I mean, you might be wanting to advertise on your Tinder, a little snippety, snip, snip.
Yeah.
That said, I do recommend IUDs in general. When Trump happened, I had an IUD put in, but they don't last that long. So, like, I knew I needed one then, but they just don't last that long. So I don't know. They're 5 years. That's kind of scary. Or 10, but really 5. on a lighter note, it is Pride today.
Woo! Happy Pride.
Right.
All right. Sorry. Something crazy just happened.
Yeah, I'm a rideshare driver in Chicago, and in a neighborhood called Boys Town. They're huge, huge festival today. So what's going on in New York for is there like any parades today or festivals going on?
Yeah.
I think most major cities have pride parades. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so we definitely have a whole bunch of stuff going on today.
Oh, cool.
I didn't go out today, but I have been to our prides in the past, and it's a great energy. It really is always like a beautiful day. There's like a big parade, and then just a whole bunch of like just the whole city celebrates. So
yeah,
it's nice.
I just had to go off camera because I had a very aggressive situation where I was like, oh my God, there's a fucking animal in my pants. I have a situation, like it's aggressive, and it was not an animal at all. It was just
a twig.
Tag. No,
oh,
just a tag.
those freaking, I'm sorry. We put people on the moon. I do not understand the flippin' way that we tag garments. It ruins the garments half the time. I am not going to find a freaking scissor and snip the thing to do it right. Even though they're like, I don't have the patience I don't have the patience to snip it. So I'm going to rip it. I'm going to rip my freaking thing, or I'm not going to have it in there. The best thing that they use it for.
Before we kick it, sorry.
The best thing. Yes. The best thing that they're good for is that, I mean, oh gosh, I hope people who are in retail are not watching this, but like you can kind of, at least if you want to wear stuff and then return it, you can kind of push the hole through the thing, so like kind of, and you have to be willing to have it be uncomfortable, but then you can wear it and then you can put the tag back on and return it.
I don't know if this is
Stretch the
an
paper
80s
hole
thing or if I'm just aware of this from the 80s, but people have their own guns sometimes to do it.
Oh, to redo it. I'm not trying to wear it to return it because I'm really bad at returning things. It's more just like if I really hate it on me, because I'll like buy things and think it looks great. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, how did I gain like 80 pounds and think this looks terrible? And then I'm just too lazy to return it. But I might have worn it like once or something. So then it's like, so it's like, that's the tag trick. You're unsure? Just make the hole a bit bigger, pull it through the thing.
Just damage the wardrobe more.
There's the Salvation Army that I go to sometimes. They staple the price tags on it. So that
doesn't make any sense.
I know. I have to like pry it off. It's like, forget cutting. You have to use the scissors.
No, but Kathryn, I'm talking about the paper receipt on the tag. You don't take the plastic out. You take this. You take the tag off, and you're just making the hole a bit bigger, and you pull the plastic, then you put the tag back on the plastic. You just have to be willing to keep the plastic in.
See, I don't know how that's possible because it's like this is the small side, and the tag's usually on the. Isn't it on the big side?
You pull it in. Side? It doesn't matter. You pull it in. Even if it's on the big side, trust me, I've stretched those paper holes. They're not checking the whole side. They're not checking out the side. They're not checking out the size of the holes.
No. The hole has changed.
I mean, hey, no, don't give them any ideas. God,
Now everybody knows you're
like a siren goes off. Hole different.
See, this is actually Elaine's perfect type of torture. Needing to talk and not being able to.
She's got so many opinions.
Real quick, Elaine. Elaine, not actual Elaine. Matt is Elaine. No.
Oh, yeah.
Elaine, what are you going to do the rest of your night? How are you going to get through the evening?
Sleep.
I'm going to cuddle with Mr. Cute.
I guess that was the actual answer.
Supposed to be Madeline.
See you guys later.
Feel better.
Yeah, I'll probably go to sleep.
Feel better.
Oh, as in right this second or in general?
She's not going to sleep. 2 minutes later, she's
I don't think so.
Online.
He's going to pop back on in like 5 minutes.
You know it.
Like back on this. She's going to be back on the show in like 10 minutes.
In a minute.
But Roe v. Wade was taken away right after guns became okay for people in New York and other places. So there's a lot going on real fast.
And also, they said that taxpayer dollars can go to religious institutions now, like schools. That was a case that happened.
Was that
Wow.
also Trump leftover?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the judges that are making the rulings. That it was in Maine. There was a case.
Isn't gay marriage and contraception also in the crosshairs of Republicans?
Yeah.
Okay, well. Yeah, there's a lot of heaviness, guys.
Yeah.
This is some heavy, heavy stuff for us to all process. It impacts us in all different ways. It is it's yeah.
And unfortunately, I think there's more to come.
There will I mean, look, that's life. There's always more to come, right?
I mean,
Like there's always
Trump did a lot of things that we're not really aware of until they start becoming public, and then we're going to see there were people that were nominated to places and bills that are still probably out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he appointed a lot of small judges too.
He did a lot of work. He did a lot of work, this guy.
He really just kind of let certain
and what's really crazy about it is I don't think he really gives two shits either way, as long as they say his name correctly.
Yeah, he just let bureaucrats do whatever they wanted as long as they told him whatever he wanted to hear, and he probably ignored them because we all know how he didn't like, lengthy reports with words. He just wanted like pictures and his name. So
if you look at the history of Trump and his family, basically they're just narcissists that want to have their name in the newspaper and have for the last 40, 50 years. So his father was the same way. His father also knew how to use media quite well. Look at his father in Coney Island. Look it up.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing where that woman said something about white rights? Did anybody see that?
I missed that one.
No, what was that?
I believe it was the MAGA rally that happened, or MAGA rally. I don't know what the fuck they call it. That happened. Yes.
Doing laundry.
No, sadly, it's not. It has nothing to do with laundry. It was something like this crazy woman, this blonde chick, was, saying something like "Thank you for restoring white rights" or something.
Wow.
Or, yeah, at an event that was that people could see, and then the crowd actually cheered at that. It's something I would say, I don't know, Christina, if you're able to look that up, but it's chilling. And I think she wasn't joking. Like, I don't think she was making a point that I, and it could be, I'm hoping that she was making a point that I missed, but it seemed more like they were really just saying exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. I think this is a step that hurts.
There's no shame whatsoever. But on the other is like, have you ever been like at a rally or something like that? And you're going like, yeah, I'll go. And then someone next to you says something like really weird. And you just kind of go like, I'm not with him.
NPR, a Republican congresswoman called the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade a, quote, historic victory for white life.
A congresswoman said that?
At a campaign rally Saturday night with Trump.
Ooh.
Man.
Hello, Mom. You came just in time for the, I don't know, it's not the world that's burning, it's just the country.
Civilization?
Yeah. Well,
our fall of New Rome.
Civilization. What?
The fall of New Rome?
Ish.
Yeah. That's what they're putting in the news over here, by the way. The protests in the States right now.
Yeah.
What's the take on it there?
They're showing it in the protests in the States. We don't listen. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the States that I think that we don't understand over here. I don't know if a lot of you understand what's going on. So I got nothing.
Well, I know what it looks like from inside. I'm wondering what it looks like from outside.
That the world,
I can tell you,
that the U.S. Is going nuts, and they like, well, what's going on over there? People say to me, for example, they ask like, why? What?
But
I
isn't that
can't explain any of this.
isn't
It's
that sort
crazy.
of the same thing for the last 4 or 5 years already at this point?
More than that, more than
Those
that. It
crazy
started,
Americans.
it really, I think the baby Bush started it with the craziness.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just go with that.
It is
But-
interesting to hear the outsider's perspective, right? Like, how are we? And maybe sometimes we need that mirror. Like, maybe you guys should talk to us more. Like, maybe we should have this where it's like, let's get feedback. Let's get some constructive feedback from everyone else. How are you seeing us right now? Like, tell us what you think.
They
What do
clearly
they do
don't
at the
care.
UN?
They clearly don't care, because
They don't
here's
care.
how we look at it. Just to give you an idea, and this is really, really true. When the US sneezes, the whole world gets a cold.
Mm.
You know, so that's really a really good perspective of how they see things.
Mm.
That's what happens. Everything that happens in the States eventually trickles down to over here.
Yeah.
But I think that there's just also so much anger, not anger. I don't know if that's the right word, but with what the U.S. is doing and the hypocrisy of it all. And I'm talking about the world events, not just what's going on internally, but the world events. For example, let me give you a great example. The whole refugee crisis that's going on. Who the hell do you think caused it? The whole refugee crisis, and that's all of Europe is being infiltrated by refugees that are basically coming out with what they're doing in Syria, Yemen, the Afghanistan, all of that stuff. For what?
Has a country, I know that the United States puts sanctions on other countries for their civil, human rights issues. Has another country ever put sanctions on the United States for their human rights issues? Like, is it possible for a country to say, no thanks, we don't like
Yes,
your
it
politics?
Yes, it is possible that they say that, and they do, but big deal, it doesn't change anything. It's not something, when you do sanctions, you have to do it like through the UN, you have to do it through that kind of thing. So this is not something other countries, yeah, Korea did it to us, do we care? So we don't care. But it's the damage that has been done. I mean, even with governments and things that you all don't even understand or see, because we don't hear any of that in the States. I mean, I can tell you just from here, we had a military junta here that happened in the 70s, late 60s, 70s. It was completely US backed and run.
Right.
So there's a lot of that going on around the world, a lot. The US is into everything. If there is money to be made with something, they're in it.
Yeah.
And it ain't pretty. We're not the good guys. We're not the good guys. We're not out there saving anybody. We're just, 10 people in the world are making money. And the rest of them are buying into it.
Contract.
So that is the general thing over here. I mean, I remember years ago when people would say things about the US, about, the CIA is doing this and the internal whatever's doing that. And I was like, no, it can't be that bad, but it is. It really is. And it becomes more obvious with time. The refugee crisis was possibly one of the worst that I saw going on here. These were people that were being taken away. I mean, they had to be out of their country because of what's going on. And believe me, we're part of it. And the US says, well, we don't want anybody. Oh yeah, but you're creating it. So now Europe has to suck in all these refugees. For what? Why? And you're not. But we're taking them from the Ukraine, but we don't want them from Syria. No, that's not right either. There's a lot of stuff. The Kurds, what happened with the Kurds? Are you kidding me? These people helped you all along, and now you just let them be slaughtered because I don't even know.
I'm a little in the dark on the refugees. So you're talking about refugees from Ukraine?
No, refugees from Ukraine are accepted everywhere in the world. Everyone's happy.
Syria, right?
Ukraine.
From a few years back.
I'm talking about Syria, I'm talking about Yemen, I'm talking about all those things. Afghanistan, what happened in Afghanistan, send people out. Why do you think the opiate crisis in the States has gotten as bad as it is? Because of the crap we pulled in Afghanistan. That's all they make. They have heroin.
What's the connection between the American opiate crisis and
I'll
Afghanistan?
explain to you. I'll explain to you. In Afghanistan, the only thing they have is opium,
Oh.
is heroin. So as soon as, and that's how they get their money, and that's how they got there, and that's how they were backing themselves, and that's how they're back in power, by the way. So what
What
they
did
did
they
was,
put on paper though?
what?
But I was asking what they put on paper because I can't
Which one
imagine
is it?
it's that. But go on. Sorry.
No, of course they don't say these things, Kathryn. Don't be silly. No one's going to say these things. But what happens is, so what happened? Because as soon as it happened, and we went into Afghanistan, the consensus in Europe is, oh boy, there's going to be a lot of heroin going out now. And that's what they did. So it all came out. And in the last 20 years, how bad has the opioid crisis gotten in the States?
Wow.
Heroin over other drugs.
Really? That's like a backbone financial resource for Afghanistan?
Yes, of course it is.
I had no idea.
Like the drug cartels in South America, are they not? Is that not their financial whatever? So
Yeah.
Afghanistan, heroin. All they have is heroin and rocks.
I thought
And,
oil.
excuse me, and a place to run pipelines through.
Yeah, oil.
No, they don't have the oil. They have the pipelines. They have land to run the pipelines. And that's what all this crap and 9/11 was all about. We had no right going to Afghanistan. Russia couldn't win it. Nobody could win Afghanistan. You're not going to get over those rocks and over those mountains. So when Russia pulls out, you think you're going in to help. And the US, y'all, the critical, the history that you all don't even understand. With Afghanistan, to give you an idea, Russia was there. We, the US, we backed the Taliban to down the Russians. So we did that. Then the Taliban came into power and the Russians left and they said, oh, we're not winning this. We're out of here, right? So the Taliban came into power. And then all of a sudden they attacked the States. And that was all to do, and we knew it was happening, by the way. And that was all to do with pipelines to go into China, to bypass China and to have pipelines going into there. So that's what all that crap was about. They knocked down the towers, and now we go into war with them. But that wasn't enough. Let's also go to Iraq. Okay? So let's just create a mess. And then after you create the mess, you're like, oh, 20 years later, people died. Oh, we're out. And it has just spread everywhere. Listen, like every empire before it, it'll go. The thing is, the US empire didn't last very long because it's done already. It's done. The only thing the US has that they sell, because they don't care about anything else, is weapons. So because you want to sell weapons, you got to create wars everywhere. You got to create the supply for the demand. You got to create the demand for your supply. And that's what they do.
Wow. I had no idea that Afghanistan was so connected to heroin, the heroin industry. That's
So
interesting.
So connected. So it was all of that. It was something that, we knew it was going to happen in 2001.
Yeah.
And now look at it, and look at how bad it's gotten.
Well, that's almost, maybe this is going off on a little bit of a tangent, but that's a different kind of warfare, sort of. It's like if you invade a country and that country poisons your population with heroin, that's kind of that's a counterattack. It's not with missiles and planes and stuff, but they are getting you. They killed Americans with heroin instead of bullets. I mean, you can say that.
That's correct. It's a lot cheaper for them because they're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Wasn't that what they did with opium?
It's the same thing. That's what we're
Like
talking
all
about.
those years ago.
No,
like all those years ago, didn't they do that with opium? Like try to get people addicted to opium because didn't that happen? Same thing.
Yeah. But differently. But yes, it's a weapon. That's definitely a weapon.
Yeah.
And used as such. Anyway, it's ugly. It's ugly.
The CIA and the FBI definitely targeted.
They never communicated.
And some will say that's how Kurt Cobain was killed.
Oh, enough. The CIA and the FBI never communicated. They never had, because they were, pissing matches of who's going to be in power. One's inside, one's outside. So 9/11 just happens and nobody knew it was coming. Seriously?
By the way, not to jerk the topic back, but that hotline number that Kathryn asked for earlier for the National Abortion Foundation, prochoice.org, is 1-800-772-9100.
Can I tell you my take on this, on what's
Please.
happening now in the States?
Always.
I'm hoping that there's going to be enough anger about this to actually get people in the streets and to the voting booths. Because the problem is that people aren't voting because they just don't care. Well, maybe now this is an issue that people that don't care might care about.
Yeah.
Because when you've got a third of the country voting, that is like truly sad.
Mm-hmm.
And a third of the third, whatever. It's just it's
I mean, there's no reason to believe that this is the last that they got the last word. This can completely go back and forth, and there can be a battle for like the next who knows how long.
Well, they got to start with anyway. I don't know. It's ugly. It's ugly. I mean,
May I
they are
remember again?
laws. Every one of those judges that said that they're not going to overturn already set policies is what they just did.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in general, like to your point, it is good to look at what can come from these things sometimes, like when you're stuck in like more of the lower vibration energy and you're stuck in something and things need to change. Like there has to be like, I mean, I like tarot, there has to be a tower moment. Like something has to happen sometimes to create change. And right after the tower in tarot is the star card. It's healing, right? So it's like, it's the way that we, like what do we do when things like this happen? Like, how do we react? How do we respond? So it is more of it gives us the ability to make change, and when things like this are highlighted, when there are structures or institutions that it's not working anymore, the tower moment happens so we can rebuild. Like it has to fall and then there can be rebuild. How do we respond? So, that is where like we, it could be that, catalyst, right?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that maybe it'll get enough people angry that they'll make a difference, because it's unbelievable to watch it happen. I mean, I'm old. I grew up, during the 60s. I grew up seeing what we thought was change, making what we thought was change. With civil rights, for example, with women's rights, for Christ's sakes, with Roe v. Wade, that was something during, and to have everything torn back slowly. I still cannot fathom and believe what's gone on in the race in the race wars in the States. That the fact that is, it's so incredible for me to see that. I mean, I was watching when I was young. I was watching the civil rights movement, and to see what's happened to that, it's just it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
You know what, that really is, that must really be hard to see.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To have people going into, to send innocent people to go get killed, and now we're talking about the wars that get created and whatever, to send innocent people to go get killed so that the gas companies can make money. It's like, come on, and the war companies can make money. It's insane. It's insane. It's like there's nothing else to sell, just weapons. I mean, really? So you have to create a demand for your supply. Anyway, Nostradamus said that, I don't know, I think it's in the next, something by 2030 something, the world will finally correct itself through whatever you just said, basically. Hello, Elise, I don't know you, but what you said is what you just said is very true. That's what he said. He says after all this, it had to do with religious fundamentalism, and after that, and how the world was going to implode, and those of us that survived it, the world will be a better place.
That's beautiful.
Here's some of the concern, like Pence and folks like that who might actually have a fatalistic view that they sort of want, if you will, that second coming. And they do want the world to kind of come to the end. And the people who are believers, they will flourish, and the ones that won't will be smitten and all that crap.
Well, in essence, that's what Nostradamus said too. Not quite, but yes. Not the believers, those that will survive the incredible, feast.
But again, but there's still like a debate of like, what is a believer? Like, what's the believer?
His was different. But his was different. He was talking about literally saying in the quatrain these words: when fire from the sky attacks the new city from a tall son of Africa, that is when for a 30-year, there will be a 30-year back and forth with it, whatever. I mean, I can't, this part I'm stuck on. I'm not correct on, but the fire from the sky blew with the tall son of Africa, that's in there. And he said that there's going to be wars, and there's going to be the Third World War, basically. And the Third World War this time may not be coming from guns, but may be coming from these internal protests, may be coming from sometimes the guns in the actual war. I mean, not a physical Third World War.
Yeah.
But we're having a Third World War. Here in Greece, we believe that Germany won World War II 70 years later financially. So to Matt's point before about whether it's drugs or whatever, it's a financial thing. The wars are being fought differently.
Well, but I think it's about figuring out why is this happening in general. And for me, it's like, as you like the way that society's moving and just the way that we are, like, there's a lot of pain that as collective trauma and we've all, like, as the human race goes, like, we collect all of this and it becomes harder and harder for us to feel these things. Because we're not taught how to. And so we literally disconnect from that right side of our brains. We go into the left side more and more so we don't feel. And guess what happens when you don't feel? You don't care. You don't connect. Like, this is literally, like, it's so fundamentally like our inability to really feel our feelings, because that's how you actually discharge. That's how you connect, like, face what's actually going on. But we continue to separate and not feel. And then that's where these things can happen. Like, it doesn't even matter what we're talking about. There's so many examples.
So many. That's why I think this may make a difference now, because you become, like you said, you don't want to be involved. At some point you just say, I give up. They've won. I give up. I just want out. Tap out. I'm done.
But it's even about the way that we react in these situations, right? Like, there's a lot of people experiencing pain. They're experiencing it in all different ways. They may have different opinions. And I'm not like, trust me, like, I'm not, but the thing is, like, everyone's experiencing their own stuff. And it's like our ability to just validate people's experience, that I may not agree with you, but like, they are experiencing what they're experiencing, and people need to be validated and seen and heard in what they are experiencing. Some people can be feeling so much grief. Some people can feel like so much anger. Some people may not feel anything, and that's okay too. Like, there are some people who may not be able to feel this and may not want to, and that's okay. That's a feeling. And it's just about, like, people, like, is like recognizing that people are having an experience. This is intense stuff. We're in a pandemic. We're experiencing like a lot of stuff that would make anybody have so many intense emotions. And look how smart we are. Like, look how smart we are for our ability to actually still keep going and find joy, or find ways to distract, like, and actually keep going with everything that's going around. Like, recognize how powerful we are, but also recognize if we have that ability to disconnect with this intensity, it's the same thing that keeps us from connecting, and connecting will save us. Connecting with each other is going to save us.
Empathy will change it. That's true. But I don't know what's going to bring that back. I mean, I know that it's been a strategic thing over my lifetime that I saw of the dumbing down of what I call the dumbing down of America. And I've been saying this for years, and now I hear other people using these terms. I'm telling you, I created that statement. But I remember I graduated a New York City public school with 1,253 in my graduating class with a better education than people are coming out of college today. And that is a sad, sad fact.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys think that it's accurate to say that people took abortion rights for granted?
Yes.
You know, and they forgot that they had to fight, you know, to get abortion rights in the first place? Do you think that that's
Well, you know what? People are taking the vote for women for granted. So I don't think that you have to realize to fight that back.
I think you fight for rights. You fight for rights because you should have had it in the. It's like we don't earn rights. We were born with them, and the fact that we have to fight for them when it's done, we don't want to have to keep fighting it. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, like these are rights we should be born like we were fighting to get them back.
But what's incredible that you know, we're talking about abortion rights and we're talking about all of that. They're going back to the states, right? So basically, you're separating, you're making each state very, you know, a separate country is what you're doing. Yep. You're trying to make each state a different country. So you're making it the United States, like I call the United States of Europe, and that's in Greece is Florida, but basically you're separating the United States and having one federation and bringing down the federal government.
Well, in that sense, then the federal taxes should really go down because that's the whole point. Like this is where like the economic stuff needs to mirror what happened too, because back in the day when the country was first established, wasn't it that, you know, there was a very small federal government because the states were in charge of their own states. And then the federal government got bigger because the states' rights. But now if the states are going to have all the rights, and the federal government should really shrink, shouldn't it?
Yes, the federal government should shrink.
You would think that. I'm not, but you know.
You would. Listen, it's the way the setup is. In the States, unfortunately, land votes. People don't vote. Land vote.
Yeah.
People's votes don't count. The land votes count.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's the fact is it's so complex and it's so now a mishmash of stuff that's old and new. It's like, tell me, like, it's just, if you were just like, hey guys, like, let's figure this out. Like there's so many, like this, you pull this lever, something else. I mean, like how, it's just such a mess. And not bad. It's just like, it's like, so like, who could figure this shit out?
But there has to be a federal whatever. I'll tell you why there has to be. Like I see it here in Europe, for example. I live in Greece. Greece is a poor country.
And that sounds, yeah, well, yeah. But
let's call it Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Called it Florida 5 seconds ago, but I'd rather call it Hawaii.
But
fine.
But in the sense
I'd like to be there right now, tanning and sunbathing in the beautiful Greece.
In a sense of the poorness I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Florida isn't poor.
Oh.
Okay. So in the sense of the poorness,
They're
Alabama,
just tacky.
That's a personal opinion. I'm talking about financially. Okay. So when you take when you see that, our roads are horrible, let's say.
Yeah.
But now with European money, which would be our federal government, they have built roads.
Oh.
So there's infrastructure that you need on a federal level. Period. And that's where it crosses over. And so you do need that. But now, is it true that some states pay more into the federal infrastructure than others? Absolutely. So you've got California, New York, Texas paying a lot of more money into the federal government than they get back. The money is being given to those other states.
Well, that's awfully generous.
States don't have it. And the states that don't pay state taxes, like Florida,
Delaware,
for example, where are they getting their things from? So, you know, there's a lot that they're getting from the federal government. The only state that doesn't pay federal tax and doesn't need it because of their thing is Nevada, because they got gambling.
Yeah. True.
You know, so there's a lot. It's intricacies. I mean, it's really when you really understand the whole picture, it's ugly. It doesn't make.
It makes me be, I mean, it really creates an interesting dynamic where like, there's so much to understand and learn and all these nuances, and it actually really matters where we choose to live. It makes me feel like, wow, we really have to be like studied, and like we need to make sure we get all the information, and like is the information available for us to make informed decisions, at least of what we can control in our experience, like knowing all these things like tax implications, like expand, all rights, like it's a lot.
What did you say before about we don't care? The desensitizing?
Yeah.
We don't care. We don't care. If it doesn't affect me, I don't care.
I know.
I have come to a point for my own personal self-preservation where I no longer want to worry about what I cannot control.
Yeah.
The only thing I can control in any of this, and all of us, is when election day comes.
Yeah.
That's all I can control. Now, what I did to make my vote count is I moved my voting ass to Florida. Because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
There is nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You go out and you protest, and maybe you make a loud enough noise, and maybe you get your people out there to vote. But the answer is you got to vote these bastards out.
Yeah.
Because they get away with it. I mean, I'm still stuck on all the damage that McConnell has done. I mean, look at the damage he's done. This is him. He did this, whether you realize it or not, the bottom line, by doing that with the judges. I mean, by not letting Obama put a judge in. He held that for how many months? For 8 months, he held back Obama's nominee to the Supreme Court and said, no, we can't do it. But in 8 days, he passed an idiot that it wasn't whatever to get her in there so she could vote against this. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The fact that January 6th isn't making a difference when it was clearly treasonous and they're getting such little sentences for what's happening. Clarence Thomas, his wife, and he's still a Supreme Court justice? Are you kidding me? Who's going to overturn? Why don't you overturn interracial marriages and all of that stuff too? That's next. But he won't do interracial marriages. That's not on the table. But gay marriage is. Because he's married to a white woman. Who's a Trump.
I'm sure when he wants a divorce, he'll suddenly be trying to overturn Hart. It's Hart, right?
What?
Love. It's love.
Loving.
Yeah.
It was just recently Loving Day too.
Yeah, it's loving.
So, I remember that the name was very fitting.
Yes, it was loving. Well, that's okay. It's so that's off the table. But on the table is doing the gay rights, the what we'll call it, same-sex marriage, but not interracial marriage. So they want to overturn all of that.
Sorry.
Yeah. So there. I mean, so there. Oh boy. So there might be more to come. With like conservatives making moves in Washington. So this is unfortunately.
These are not conservatives, Matt. They fall under conservatives, and that's what they say. They're not conservative. They're fundamentalists. Don't make a mistake about that. They're fundamentalists. They're no different than the Taliban fundamentalists. It's the same thing.
Okay, but you know what I mean.
They want to put religion above the state.
Right.
It's like you totally forget separation of church and state with this. But the gun laws, oh yay, let's protect those.
Yeah. Now I just mean that this is, this stuff like this might just be the beginning. So stay tuned to Washington.
Hopefully. So it's ugly.
It's a lot.
In many ways, I kind of look back at it and I say, you know what? I grew up at a great time because I saw, when I grew up, everything was new. Like when I say new, like, the Beatles had just come out. That was, coming in or whatever, all that came with that. And then now I'm seeing it's ugly. It's really ugly. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm not a kid today. I look at what Kathryn said. Kathryn said when she was maybe 5 or 6, I'm never having children. I hate children. I'm never having any. I'm not breeding. And I look at it now and I say, and actually after 9/11, I said to her, you never have to. I don't care.
Yeah.
You never have to. I don't care. And now I'm happy for her decision. I think it was the right decision. I think it's very sad that, but to me, it's the right decision. I wouldn't want a kid in this to have a new kid in this world now. I don't think that bringing children into this world is fair with what we've done to it. How are they gonna survive?
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hmm.
We're not even, you're not, and then we're talking about these things. Do you even know what we're doing in Africa? The water rights. I mean, this is something no one talks about.
Oh,
Water.
actually,
Water-
oh
water is
my
not-
my sister's husband, I feel like, I mean, his dad unfortunately recently passed, but he was working on, I think, this exact topic. They actually had a whole project that had finally was going to be funded for all the water stuff. It's actually, I actually somehow have a connection to this particular thing.
It's all part of it. It's all
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
Water is not your right. Water should be purchased.
Ugh.
They're starving people. There are people that are starving out there. They are dying because they do not have clean water. And there's no reason that they shouldn't have clean water. Other than we don't want them to, and someone's going to make money. Corporations go in there and they give them all kinds of, let me help you. I'm giving you some shots to fix this, but you're sterilizing populations.
Yeah.
Or testing on them. These are things we don't talk about. These are things we don't know about. And then you're officially trying to take out history from schools.
Wow.
And
We were kind of talking about that earlier.
And that seems to be like an okay thing. It's okay if we don't learn the real history because it's too sad to know the real
Well,
history.
I mean, the interesting part is like with algorithms and technology and the way that we use, it's like, again, their information's out there, but you have to know to find it. And how do you know to find it when there's just all these other things that are just shoving I mean, again, I won't even phrase it as that way, but in general, just technology itself, from what I am aware of and from what I do search, where I do spend my time is what I'm fed back. And so you don't even know what you don't know because where we get our news and things like that. I'm not, again, not saying that like, it's like, I don't want to say, like, you can say that it's intentional and make arguments, but you can also see there's still an aspect of it that is unintentional. It's just like, it is an element now of what's been created, right? It's like, it's just automatic.
There's nothing unintentional about what's going on. Nothing. It has been planned. The news alone. I grew up, Walter Cronkite read the news. It was just the facts. He didn't editorialize the news. He didn't add to it. They didn't do any of that. Just the facts. You had real newspapers, and then you had the Inquirer.
But what if they're just gaslighting you and saying it's just the facts and it's not the facts?
But it was, because back then they used to check the news. They used to actually have
but like even just the way you say it, like even just the way you were to say it, phrase it, they couldn't run certain stories. And like Hearst, I don't know, wasn't he kind of not?
Yes, Hearst
on the up and up.
Yeah, what about it?
I guess it's not Cronkite, so that's different.
No, exactly. He was the publisher, but the actual news that was reported was the facts. So now you've got a channel calling itself news, but every time they get taken to court because of what they've done, they say, we're not a news channel, we're an entertainment channel.
Yeah, I thought it was so funny, the connection between Trump and Fox News. It was just like, are they reporting the news or are they dictating the news? Are they, like their connection between those two was like, hey.
They are clear. Listen, when they take it to court, the defense is, we are an entertainment channel.
Which is a perfect segue into this next bit. Cece, what do you have for us today?
Well, since it was just such a very, very hard week to be alive with so many feelings, I had found this post of just people saying, what are your favorite conspiracy theories? So I was just going to read from that, but I didn't have it ready because I thought we were going to do uplifting animal news.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
what about tattletales?
yeah, how about those tales? How's
Yeah,
the
let's
Mitzi?
do tattletales. Tattletales, tattletales. Time to talk some about our pets.
Oh, hey,
Mitzi Cam. So I have some Tony news, but let's hear how Mitzi's doing.
She's doing well. She's, I don't know.
Oh, look at those saucy paws. Oh no, we lost you. So, Elise, I know you were talking earlier about scooting, and I have been sitting on this impulse to tell you about it. Yes, what were you saying?
Did you say I love scooting? Okay, go.
Yes, I know. So, my cat came. So a few days ago, we saw a weird line on the ground, and we're like, "Oh God, what is it? I hope it's not that. Whatever it looks like it is, but it isn't." So then a little while later, she goes to the bathroom, and then she does a fucking scoot. And then she scoots up to the food. She does a scooty turn. She scoots again, and then she scoots out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. So we went to the doctor. I told them the whole scoot story. They just laughed at me. And they were like, yes, it's a cat.
But
Give me your
isn't
money.
it? But is it a sign? But is it a sign that that they have some sort of like worms or something, like their butt itches? Like
That's what I thought. And he went in there and he did some things
Oh,
to her
God.
anal gland. I don't know
Oh.
anything about it, and I still
wait.
don't
Do you
know how
think
to
the
do
cat
it.
Do you think the cat likes the anal touching, and that's why it's scooting?
I think so.
Scooting is
Yeah,
worms.
because
Scooting is your cat's kink?
he
Well,
might
because
be.
if it gets you to get your finger up the butt, maybe that's is Matt barfing? Oh, okay.
No, he
Yeah, that's
likes
fucking
it.
gross.
He's trying to get you infected with that stuff that cats have that make you insane.
Yeah, my cat has been putting her asshole on my nose the entire relationship, and I think she's just like, if that
she
won't
wants
work,
him. Wait,
that's different.
she wants him. Oh, interesting.
No,
Yeah.
the putting they want you to smell their butt. That's different. That's
Yeah,
how
I'm
they-
not
I
trying
puff
to.
it. I wax it and puff it.
Yeah, it's two different things, but the scooting is worms.
Kathryn, do you
It
mind
might
if I tell the reason why your cat is scooting?
Now it's time to find out. And
I love this.
get to know our guest. Elise, thank you. You are our guest. we're gonna get to know you, but also we're gonna get to know more about why my cat is scooting.
Yes, we can start off with why the cat's scooting. I can shuffle about why the cat's scooting while I introduce myself. So I'm Elise. There's a lot about me, but one of the things I love is tarot. I love doing tarot. I love doing anything. I don't know, psychic. I'm really into all that stuff, but also I am really serious about adult development, and I also work in corporate tech. So there's a lot about this. But that being said, first off, this is the cat tarot. We're gonna see if I can channel.
Wait,
What is your cat's name?
Could
Tony,
cat scooting be the reason for crop circles?
I don't know. We can
Yes,
tarot that
absolutely.
next. We can go for your questions, whatever it is. Okay, so let's see if we can get some guidance in terms of why. And what's your cat's name? Sorry,
Tony, T-O-N-I, like a
Tony. And why beautiful cat Tony's scooting? What does she want us to know? Why are you scooting, Tony? What's going on in that bum of yours? Let's see.
She ate some kind of critter, and it's affected her insides.
So this is, okay, so this is the Four of Cups. Oh, so Four Cups. I mean, she might be bored, to be honest. Four Cups is actually a card of kind of waiting for something to come in, or just kind of feeling down, a little disappointed, or a little bored, stuck energy. So she's sort of look, you keep giving me the same fucking food. Okay, the same fucking food over and over. Every day is the same fucking day. And she loves it, but she's getting a little complacent. And she's like, is there something new in here? No, you know what? She might be looking for other new food, or she maybe it was a Ooh, she's a smart one because she's like, okay, wait a second. I want new food because I'm bored of this food. So maybe if I feel like I have some issues with this food, I'll get some new food. But let's see. Let's dive into the 4 cups. Why the 4
So
cups?
she's eating critters.
She's definitely looking to shake something up. So she's either fucking bored or she wants some new food. Let's see. The hangman. Yeah, she's stuck energy. Exactly. She's waiting around. She's like, this is boring. She's like, hello, I'm bored. Look, her butt's in the air. Here we go. Look at my butthole, mom.
Amazing.
Look at my butthole.
Amazing.
The hangman. Look at my butt.
Wow.
All right,
All
wait.
makes
Why the
sense.
hangman?
Hey, Elise, hold that up again, would you?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that
Oh
butthole.
my God.
Look at that. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
universe talking to us.
I mean, it really is the only card that shows the butthole in this deck. So we know we're connected here. And yeah, here's the 4 pentacles.
So your
Yeah.
cat is a butthole surfer?
This is very interesting. This 4 pentacles card, I feel like she, again, wow. 4-4, so that's actually a very spiritual number. I mean, that it really is about being protected. So in general, like Tony's protected, she's protected, she feels like she's protected. 4 Pentacles is a firm foundation, so she's really happy about, I think she hears me talk, she's really happy about what you give her, and she feels like, but again, it could be a little bit of that energy where it's like, I'm looking for some change. 4s are really stable energy. 5s is about change. So she's kind of pushing the boundaries. She's like, Mom, shake things up for me a bit, okay? Look, I want a new friend, and I want some new food. I appreciate what you've done for me, but I'm looking for something to change. I want to progress, you know? Oh, hey, Tony, there you are.
Yeah.
She wants some new food and she wants some new toys.
I think she came out to tell you how accurate that was. Also, she did make it very clear that she was done with all the turkey every day and that she wanted new things. So I had to give her some salmon and tuna. Yeah. But then I was giving her salmon and
Lovers
tuna.
comes out to sign all this. So the lovers, I mean, the lovers are just two. I mean, they're look, masculine, feminine energy, or it could be, but it's a union, right? It is a very big union. It's a very strong bond of happiness and love. You guys are connected. It's beautiful. Look at you guys. This is the sweetest little thing ever.
Aww.
Thanks.
Change her diet.
Change her diet. She just wants a little shakeup. I don't think it's anything major. The energy is so great, but she's just sort of like, you know what? I'm just getting like, I'm ready for a change,
But the thing with the bum, that really is worms. So she's eaten something.
Well, they looked in her bum. I don't know if they got a sample, but they definitely went in there. And
Okay. But that's what it is. It's when they do
and
that.
they took blood.
It's usually some kind of worms, and worms come from eating some kind of bugs or birds or something.
Whatever it is, we're putting an end to it. Whatever it is, we'll find it. Cycle's closing, new one beginning. You got a new cycle, Tony.
She's gonna get her teeth fixed. It's a new cycle. Hopefully she'll be less droopy. Oh, that was Shadow Tales. How about you, Don?
Let me see. Cat stuff. So the only thing cat stuff is that a few days ago, I'm still battling with the different companies to try and get the right foods. And they keep saying things like, well, we're out of them. But the truth is, there is no supply chain problem. It's the slow boats as opposed to fast boats, slow barges, I think they call them, which is that that's the stuff which is lined up in the docks that they don't have the dock workers to be able to pull the stuff off, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so I'm kind of trying to conserve on these foods as much as possible, and don't tell him, but I'm taking like, the dry food that he's not eating, and I put it back in the bag. And I switch.
No.
He hasn't figured it out.
He not until now, hopefully. So, but a couple of days ago, I spilled it, and I spilled it on top of him, and he just kind of looked up at me, and I went like, "Oh my God, it's like manna from heaven." There's droplets of dry food coming at me from above. That's all I got.
Aww. I hope he doesn't tell the Council of Cats that you've been doing what you've been doing. That's That's
Don't tell-
huge. That's
That's
a
against
huge
cat code.
Yeah,
No,
it's a big deal.
the other cats might think that your cat is the chosen one.
That too.
I think he is, but that's beside the point.
Oh.
There he is, the king, right? You gonna come say hello?
Yeah, I made it rain cat food. You want to see it again? Yeah, I can do it.
No?
And now for
Yeah, no.
On this day in history, nothing was solved.
all right, Matt. What happened?
Oh shit.
I thought it was going to be my turn.
I don't. Is that sign language? All right. Fuck. Yeah. Is there waiting music?
Okay, fine, Christina, you go. Then Matt.
Woo!
Okay, so the first person says, I believe there are truthful elements in a lot of conspiracy theories, but that most of them are mundane in reality. For example, if you say stuff like big business is totally trying to take over the world and create a class of society that are entirely bred to serve, that sounds a bit bonkers. But if you look at the actions of the mega wealthy hoarding billions, plus wealthy corporations and individuals avoiding taxes and social responsibilities, plus the impact of capitalism on equity, health, and life expectancy in society, it doesn't look quite so crazy.
Who said it's crazy?
Well, it's called a conspiracy,
Gaslighters.
but that's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Next person says, I 100% believe Flight 93, the one that crashed in rural PA on 9/11, was shot down. Also, that it
Whoa.
was the right call.